I'm the Executive Director of Utah Transit Authority. To begin with, I'd like to recognize the following partners in being able to deliver this project: Ogden City, Weber State University, Intermountain McCady Hospital, Wasatch Front Regional Council, Weber County, Utah Department of Transportation, the Federal Transit Administration, and Rocky Mountain Power. With their leadership and their partnership, we've been able to make this project possible, and I want to thank them for their support and collaboration on the project. I would also like to recognize UTA's Board of Trustees who are here today, including Chair Carlton Christensen, Trustee Beth Holbrook, and Trustee Jeff Acerson. We'd also like to thank our political and community leaders for their shared vision in creating a bus rapid transit in Ogden City. And as I mentioned earlier to a reporter who asked me, the planning and getting into construction takes much longer than the construction itself. So I really do appreciate all of those who've been involved in delivering and bringing this project forward into construction. This is a very exciting day for UTA, and we appreciate our project partners, the community leaders, all of our employees, the consulting industry that supports us, and all of you here today who are just as excited as us to see this project move forward. At this time, I would like to turn this time over to UTA Trustee Beth Holbrook, who represents Davis, Weber, and Box Elder counties and has been following this project since coming on board to UTA as a trustee. And she'll tell you a little bit more about the project and introduce the speakers today. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone here for coming today. This is so exciting. And again, Beth Holbrook, trustee for Utah Transit Authority for Weber County. And as Carolyn mentioned, the Ogden-Weber State University project reflects a significant collaboration with our partners for the past 20 years. Yes, it has been 20 years. This project began as a gondola and morphed into a streetcar. Neither of those options, however, were really cost efficient, and the funding wasn't available. Recently, however, federal funding as well as local funding became available to build the first bus rapid transit line in Weber County. The Ogden-WSU Brt Journey begins at the Ogden Frontrunner Station and proceeds down 23rd Street to the junction. It then heads south on Washington Boulevard to the Peary's Egyptian Theater, and which is adjacent to historic 25th Street, before proceeding east up 25th Street to Harrison Boulevard. That also goes past the Weber County Library. The all-electric buses that will operate on this line will head south on Harrison Boulevard in a dedicated lane and head towards Weber State University's campus, the student housing, and the D Event Center. Riders will be able to connect at our transit hub at the D Event Center on the 455, the 625, or Route 640 before they either continue on to Intermountain McCady Hospital or heading back to Ogden City. In addition, the Ogden-WSU Brt will also be the official campus connector for Weber State University. And this is one of the first options for doing this in the entire country. So that is exciting news, and I just want to congratulate everybody. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the journey of the BRT. This is a 5.3-mile journey operating 7 days a week, running every 10 to 15 minutes on weekdays and 15 to 30 minutes on the weekends. And the fare will be completely free for riders for the first 3 years due to a CMAQ grant, which is a Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Grant. As you know, that's one of the key things that we want to make sure we're doing is acknowledging our air quality issues and making sure we can help to address them. So thank you. Yes. I always appreciate the commissioner's enthusiasm. Thank you. This is really such an exciting time for Utah Transit Authority. We are seeing ever-growing demand for bus rapid transits, and it all began with our UVX in Provo and on Orem, and the success of that has really morphed into some other areas as well that we are looking at. We are actually currently doing environmental studies for possible BRT lines from South Davis County to Salt Lake City, from Sandy to Lehigh around the point of the mountain, from our Murray Transit Hub to Taylorsville and West Valley City, and from Lehigh to Provo for the Central Corridor study. So these are all studies that we are looking to do to enhance and improve the BRT offerings that UTA has. Additional funding has also been created for the expansion of our front-runner service, as you might have heard, and that strategic double tracking will allow us to eventually increase the frequency and have express trains to increase that connectivity to all of these BRTs, which is a very exciting thing as well. Finally, we are in the process of working with multiple counties and cities to add innovative new ideas like our rideshare program, which is the UTA On Demand by VIA. As you know, that is a pilot program in Southwest Salt Lake County, and the success of that has been really unprecedented, even considering we are in the midst of a pandemic. And so we're looking to incorporate that into other areas as well. We're looking at new technologies and modes of transportation to get people where they need to go. We want to call this access to opportunity, and that is our goal with this BRT today. This really represents an opportunity for us to increase that connectivity, reduce the number of vehicles on the road, and again, improving air quality, a really key thing for this area and for the Wasatch Front in general. So with that, I want to thank you again for all of the hard work that everyone here has done to make this possible today. And I'd love to have you guys join me in a round of applause for all of the partners that have gotten us here. And with that, I want to introduce some of the partners that are going to talk a little bit about each of their respective areas. We're going to have, we're first going to start with Weber State University President Brad Mortensen, and then the Ogden City Mayor Mike Caldwell, and then Intermountain McCady Hospital CEO Mike Clark. And with that, I would invite them all to come up and speak in that order. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Weber State University. We are so honored to have you all on our campus for this beautiful, awe-inspiring day, with the peaks of the great mountains behind us and to the north of us and the east of us right here. It's a pretty amazing place that we live, but I think today is really more of an awe-inspiring, amazing testament to all of these great partners who've worked not for years, but for decades to bring this project to pass. And we're so excited about the benefits it will have on behalf of Weber State to connect our community, not only between here and downtown Ogden, but beyond to the education, to the arts, to our great healthcare providers with Intermountain McCady Hospital, and just to really have that vibrant connection to help all of us thrive together. And I'm truly excited for this. As Beth said, we're very excited to have the connection between the D Event Center, where we've had auxiliary parking for years and had shuttles traversing the streets of the East Bench here, and now just be able to have that direct connection as part of this project, and then to connect on down to all the other facilities across the community will be really outstanding. One thing that wasn't mentioned that is really important to us is we really appreciate the sacrifice and the forethought of UTA to make sure these are all electric buses that will be running through our campus, be clean solutions that way, to even promote greater air quality, to help with the congestion on the roadways. And we're very grateful and appreciative of our great neighbors and partners who live in the neighborhoods right around us, who've dealt with being neighbors to a university for a long time and realize that this project will have a positive impact on their way of life as well. I just want to extend my thanks to all of the partners. UTA, thank you so much. Really appreciate all that you've done. UDOT, the leadership we have here represented today with the federal delegation, the funding from the Federal Transit Administration has been really what's helped make this possible. Appreciate the forethought of the Weber County Commission, our Weber Area Council of Governments, all the mayors from across the county who've seen the vision of this project and the good that it can do for our community, and appreciate them, the legislative support that makes all of this possible, And then just to thank a few folks who've really been in on the specifics. Janelle Robertson has been our UTA project manager. Chad Downs has been our Weber State University project manager on this project. Jason Phillips and Chris Price with Jacobs, who've been the design team, really have incorporated this in an amazing way that just needles its way right through the heart of our campus. And then Maverick Gibbons and Stacy Whitbeck with our contracting team. We appreciate all of the hard work that you've done. This is truly an exciting day for Weber State. It's so exciting. We brought in a national champion spirit squad to help us celebrate the occasion. So both the cheer team and the dance team just arrived at about 11 o'clock last night at the D Event Center. Both brought home national championship trophies from Florida. So we're super proud of them and appreciate that they would make a quick turnaround after a few hours of sleep and be here to celebrate this grand occasion with us today. So thank you all for coming out and supporting this great project and for your support of Weber State University.
Thank you, Mr. President, and everybody else for being here. It's still kind of funny to be at these ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings and see lots of friendly faces I haven't seen other than on a Zoom meeting for a long time. But this is really a momentous occasion for me. I'll tell you a personal story. When I was a student at Weber State, I think we had 16,000 students on campus, and we had about 5,000 parking spots. Now we have over 28,000 students and fewer than those 5,000 parking spots. And when I barely graduated from Weber State because of its academic rigor, I was always surprised at how difficult it was to get in and out and what a big chunk of my day that took. And now everybody's going to have access to that kind of academic rigor and opportunities. This has been a decade for me personally, as I've been mayor for almost 9 years now. Just over 9 years. This was something that was a passion project for mine for a long time. And we have had so many different partners. I won't retread them all, they've all been mentioned, but it has been a collaborative and a collective effort that would not have happened in northern Utah without that type of support and commitment from all of our state, federal, and local partners. It has been, I can think back for years of these conversations in WCOG, and I'm looking at Norm Tarbaugh over there as these started when I first was elected. He's kind of hiding in the background. We did not have a sense of direction. And I'm looking at our city council members that put that direction down, said this is the route we think we can do. This is the fiscally responsible way to put this type of a transportation project into our community. Looking at a lot of our state and other partners that brought a lot of vision and expertise to this, which was critically important. I'm looking at Jay Louder and his little crew of gangsters over there with black hats that have put a ton of work into the technical aspects of this. It's been absolutely critical that this collaboration came together to put this together. I did not know and did not think we would be turning dirt on this project. As I was coming into my third term, I've been surprised at how this has come together, but it has been that collaborative effort from so many different unique people. And certainly need to thank the legislature. We had a different president when I was first elected. It's great to see you, Senator Milner, and we've had conversations throughout this entire time with leadership at the university, and it wouldn't have happened without your flexibility and willingness to double down and commit to this. I think this is a generational project. This will impact Ogden and Weber State University for decades to come. This is not just a turn dirt and we're kind of moving on. It's going to be inconvenient. It's going to be a struggle, but when this is done, it will transform our community. And I do believe with all my heart that this will not only make it easier for people to have access to opportunity, as was mentioned, but it will bring hundreds of millions in economic development into our community as we talk about affordable housing and that important access to opportunity. This will be the spine that we build off for that. So I again want to thank all of our key partners in this. This is a great day for me. I think it's a great day for the community. I hope everybody can celebrate what a momentous occasion this is, and thank you all for being here and for your support.
I want to thank Mayor Caldwell and President Mortensen for speaking as well. I have a little bit of history with Weber State. I grew up in Arizona, but my parents actually met here at Wsu Brt State on this campus. So it's exciting for me to be here today to talk about that. I want to talk a little bit more about some history. In 1969, the first railroad steamed through Ogden. And it was the beginning of what we are talking about today, additional transportation services to this community. As travelers continued through the West and continued to come to Ogden, it changed the city, and it brought things that we needed to deal with. And one of those things was healthcare. Annie Taylor Dee had the idea, actually, and the forethought to decide to bring healthcare to Ogden City, into this community. It was actually because of the demise of two of her family members, her husband and one of her sons, that prompted her to say, we need to do something about the healthcare in this community. And as she continued that vision and bringing healthcare here and trying to augment this community as it continued to grow because of the railway, it's continued to grow. In the hospital now, we employ over 3,500 people at the hospital that will be able to use this transit system to be able to reduce the pollution and be able to come to our hospital, as well as the 100,000 individuals that come to get patient care at our hospital every year. You know, interestingly, we had over 3,000 births last year. Even in a COVID year, babies continue to come. That will fill 144 kindergarten classes in 5 years from now. As we think about the clean air that this will be able to contribute and the education and healthcare opportunities for these children that were born this last year, that this transit system will make a difference for future generations to come. It's exciting. It's with humbleness that we come and continue the legacy that Annie Taylor Dee started for us as healthcare givers, and we're thrilled to partner an additional legacy with Ogden, with BRT, with UTA, with Wsu Brt State, and Ogden City. As we continue, because of our partnership with Wsu Brt State, we have hundreds of clinicians that are in training with Wsu Brt State that will be able to access directly through this transit system to the hospitals to do their clinical rotations, to continue their training, to become our future generations of healthcare providers. So we're proud today to stand with our partners. I'm proud to stand with Ogden City, with Wsu Brt State and UTA, and to continue this legacy of transportation and what Ogden was founded on. And I'm glad that we could be here today and be able to recognize that all the great work that's taken place, and the committees and the individuals that have worked so hard and diligently over the last multiple years to be able to bring this. And we're excited to be at the end of the line, and at the turnaround. It's kind of a special place to be of any kind of transit system. So we're excited to go forward. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to thank President Mortensen, Mayor Caldwell, and Mr. Clark for those words that they had today, and just for some of the history and the background. And I wanted to make sure that I did not miss anyone, and I wanted to acknowledge we have several members of our key UTA staff here today, and we could not have gotten here without their support as well. So can we please give them a round of applause? You guys wave, say who you are. And one more personal preference, and then I'm going to introduce our next speaker. I have with me today also my daughter, Samantha, who is a Wsu Brt State freshman. So very excited that she's going to get to experience this very soon. So thanks for coming, honey. And at this time, I am so honored to introduce our next speaker to you, former Wsu Brt State University president and now Senator Ann Milner. What a great opportunity we get to hear from someone who has represented both sides and now has an even bigger perspective. So with that, I would invite Senator Milner to come and speak. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a particularly historic occasion for me today. Where's Norm Tarbox? I know he's hiding. So Norm Tarbox and I started talking about this project when I was president of Wsu Brt State University. And as somebody said, those initial conversations started happening close to 20 years ago. And it's been through many forms. But I think what you can say about this project is an example of persistence. It's the persistence of people who could capture the vision of this project and the difference that we could make for people in this community. Willingness to work through ups and downs, through changes of people, through changing economic conditions, but to say, this is important and we need to persist. The second is this project happened because of partnership. And I'm certainly not going to list everybody because they've already been listed. But you know, if there's something that's a hallmark of this community, it's partnership. More than anyone else, any place else. It's why I love living here, is people come together to work for the good of everyone. And it's projects like this that wouldn't happen without that kind of partnership, all the way from federal and state level. But most importantly, it's really the community partners that drive this and make it happen. You all just go out and make sure that the state and federal partners are there to help you and support you. And the third is promise. The promise of the access this will bring. Access to FrontRunner for those in this community. Access of students and faculty and staff and others to this university. Access of patients and visitors and staff to McKay Hospital. It's the interconnection of all of us to our city, to educational opportunities, to healthcare support. And it's the promise that this brings to make that even more accessible and available to everyone. And then, as I think about the potential for all of us to have greater access across the state, the tide of FrontRunner. And we're starting the work towards double tracking, which for some of us who said, I'm not going to run FrontRunner unless I can have some express buses or express trains that get me there faster. But being able to know that I think this really brings us that promise of public transit across the state and our access as a community to that. So thank you all for allowing all of us to be part of that. UTA, Weber State, McKay, Ogden City. I saw Carlos here, DOT, everyone that's been part of this. Thank you for your work, and thank you for making dreams come true for our community.
You know, that really is so, when she teared up a little bit and got emotional, it made me emotional too, because that really is the key thing, is making this access to opportunity better for everybody and for these communities. And I really do believe that this will be transformational, and I'm so excited to be involved in this project. And I wanted to take this time now to thank everyone again, our community leaders, the people who have worked tirelessly on this project in its various forms and brought it to where it is today. Without you, this would not be possible. I know that they've been mentioned before, but I want to make sure I don't miss too many others. Ogden City, thank you. This is in your neck of the woods, and I know it took a lot of lifting to get here, and we wanted to thank you for that. Weber State, this is such a transformational project, and yes, I am so excited for the electric part of that bus system and looking forward to getting that on board. Intermountain McKay Hospital, thank you. Thank you for the community support that you give, and for looking forward to your to the people who work as employees or people who go to the hospital. I also wanted to thank Wasatch Front Regional Council. We know that this long-range planning is one of the key things to getting us all together to be able to collaborate on this. Weber County Commissioners, thank you. Thank you so much for your support, for your connectivity. That has really just been tremendous. I also saw Carlos somewhere, so I apologize, I don't know where exactly he is, but wanted to, thank you again to UDOT and to Carlos for your vision and for your ability to connect with everyone else and helping this move this project forward. The Federal Transit Administration, again, and the U.S. Department of Transportation. And hopefully I didn't miss anyone, although I do see a representative, Adam, from Senator Romney's office. Thank you for your support as well. I also wanted to thank our engineering partners from Jacobs Engineering Group, AECOM, WCEC Engineers, as well as our contractors, Stacy and Whitbeck Incorporated, for the task of building these roads, these transit stops, and these pedestrian pathways. Thank you, everyone, for all of the work that we are now getting ourselves into, and I'm so excited. So with that, I wanted to say thank you again, and I'll turn it over to Carolyn for the last minute discussion on some of this.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Holbrook. Just wanted to wrap up some things and conclude. I do want to say that, when it comes to the electric buses and that infrastructure, that was that last piece that we really wanted to get in. And I really want to thank State Legislature, UDOT for the monies received, WFRC and Rocky Mountain Power for really coming together and helping us be able to get those electric buses and the electric infrastructure that we are going to need. So that's really important. I'm really excited about that ability. That'll be our first BRT with fully electric buses in this system, and it actually is going to be something that we can expand upon throughout this region. So I want to conclude this event with a series of groundbreaking photos and media interviews, and I don't mean groundbreaking, I actually mean groundbreaking. So as you leave, make sure you grab a commemorative cup and cookie, which I think are over there, if I'm correct. And at this time, I'd like to ask the following people, if the rest of the people could sit down because this is being done through Facebook Live, but for the groundbreaking, to grab a shovel would be Trustee Chair Carlton Christensen, Trustee Jeff Acerson, Utah State Senate Majority Whip Ann Milner, thank you for your remarks, Ogden City Mayor Mike Caldwell, WSU President Brad Mortensen, Intermountain McCady Hospital CEO Mike Clark, Weber County Commissioner Scott Jenkins, Andrew Gruber, WFRC Executive Director, and UDOT Executive Director Carlos Braceras. So if you could each come over and grab a shovel, appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey everybody, we want to get some additional pictures. So after this group finishes, can we get the spikers to go up next and you'll be the next wave of photos.
How are you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you, my friend?
Nice job.
It was so nice seeing you. It was like my good old buddy Greg. Brings back great memories of Forsyth.
Oh, yeah.